And we're live. Welcome to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
I am not in the same location, and George is in the same location. They're in,
Always.
They're in good old rural Virginia.
Yep.
How's it going tonight, George?
It's going all right. You know, I had a brew day this weekend. All the numbers were hit well. It's always nice. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I do want to dive into that in great detail. But before we get into that, what are you drinking tonight?
I have something different. It is from Blackbird Cider Works, and it's a premium draft semi-sweet hard cider. Yeah.
Semi-sweet. Okay. All right.
Semi-sweet, so it's, probably back sweetened a little bit.
All right.
It's out of New York. Barker, New York. We'll have to ask Scott next time we see him where that is.
Okay. All right. And this will be
I originally got the... Go ahead.
This will be a first sip?
Of this can, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the last can
okay,
that
but not...
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
You got all the way through it. That's one good sign.
It is a good sign. It's pretty tasty. Yeah, I originally got it because I needed a cider for a recipe that I was making. So it was like you can either use regular cider or you can use hard cider. And of course I was like, well, I'm going to use hard cider. So that's what we ended up using.
I'm not biased or anything, but I think you chose wisely.
Yeah, I mean, really, was there another option? What about you, sir?
So,
Romeo Pills.
Romeo Pills from our good friends at Metal Monkey. Cheers to Dan and Jason. Cheers to their grand reopening, so to speak, this past weekend, as well as really all the Illinois breweries. I'm thrilled for Dan and Jason. I'm thrilled for all the breweries that finally get to invite the public back into their place. And I wish everyone the best, and hopefully we can keep this COVID thing in check.
So I heard you were there. Knock on wood, indeed. I assume you were there this weekend. I
was not.
How you were not? Okay.
No.
So you got that another time. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't think of this until just now, but when they announced the quarantine, I believe this was the last brewery I went to pick up a package of finished product. So, and that was my first experience with the curbside system. So I called ahead and had a guy bring out a 4-pack to me, which is how I got this here. And of course, that was a learning experience for everybody, myself included, and it certainly felt strange. It's like, hey, like having to call a number and be like, "Hey, you got my stuff? Yeah, I'll be right out."
Bring it around back.
I won't. Yeah, I'm not pointing fingers, but okay, I'll leave it to the listeners to let me know how that sounds on the surface.
Yeah. It sounds like you should be getting materials for Polly's cigarettes.
Well said. But in all seriousness, this Romeo Pills is really a solid Pilsner.
Nice.
And it's available in a lot of places here in the Chicagoland area. So keep your eyes open, and either way, head on down to Romeoville, Illinois, and check out our friends Dan and Jason.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Codename Jason at checkout.
I'm getting a workout of free plugs here, and you know what?
Free plugs. No, honestly, Metal Monkey's a good friend of the show, and if you're in the area, definitely do go check them out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So
if you like the way I do plugs here on the webcast, reach out to us on social media and let's have a conversation. Open.
We could do so many more.
Yes, exactly. Hashtag open for business. Anyway, George,
Yeah.
let's talk about your brew day.
Okay.
All right. So
I mentioned it before. Oh, go ahead. You had a question?
Yes. Let's start from the beginning. What did you make, and what kind of went into deciding to make it?
So we had talked about the recipes we wanted to try again, refined and everything. And one of the ones that was principal for me was one I called Deck Building Shandy. And so I made some alterations to the recipe. Number one, I scaled it up to a full 5 gallons. At the time, I was making 3.5 because I didn't have, people to share beer with and yada, yada, yada. I made smaller batches.
Sure.
But that has changed. So I scaled it up to 5 gallons and changed out the yeast and one of the hops in there to just kind of add a little bit more character to it, a little bit.
Okay.
I'm big, you know me. I'm a big fan of the German noble hops, but
yes,
sometimes some of the other ones they can add a little bit more character. So
right.
I can run the recipe here. Actually, I can share it, assuming my everything doesn't freeze up.
Yeah, if you're comfortable with that, go for it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, here we go. Can you still hear me? So while this is loading up, I'll make mention of a different recipe that you can find. If you're interested in other recipes, many other recipes are available through the website at homebrewersassociation.org. We've talked about these guys at length on previous webcasts. They offer annual memberships, 1 year and 2 years, I believe. And part of your membership includes a subscription to Zimmergy magazine, which has a quite a plentiful volume of open recipes or that you can choose from. And each issue has its own assortment of recipes within it. And this past month, there's a recipe available called American Amber Ale. And each time that George drops out tonight, I will be reading a different piece of the American Amber Ale. So
okay, all right,
but that's where we'll stop, and we're gonna dive back into George's recipe.
Once, okay, I'm not gonna share it because for some reason with StreamYard, every time I try to share something, it just my Chrome goes to shit.
Bombs out.
So
okay,
yeah,
got it.
I'm just not, and maybe it's because I'm using Cogni. I'm not even gonna dissect that anyway.
Okay.
So I'll just run down the recipe real quick. So it's 9.5 pounds total of total grist.
All right.
For this, so I did 4.5. So 50% of pale 2-row. 2.25 pound of white wheat malt. That's a personal favorite of mine. I like what it adds to beer.
Yeah.
1.5 pounds of rye. 12 ounces of Munich 10 Lovabond, and 1/2 pound of flaked wheat. So that's the total grist. I did use my Herms setup again, and it was definitely able to keep everything nice and clear. And then I did all that, did a fly sparge, got it into the kettle, hit my pre-boil numbers, which is good. And then got it up to boil. At 60 minutes, put in 1 ounce of Tettnang. And at 30 minutes, put in 1 ounce of Waiti. And that also,
that's a tropical hop.
Yeah, it's a little bit citrusy, peppery kind of notes. I think it's going to play really nice with the fruit. So that I put in, I adjusted things a little bit because the alphas were a little different than the stock alphas that were in Beersmith. So
Which
I
is
adjusted
typical.
Beersmith to,
There's
so I adjusted Beersmith to what's on the package. And since Waiti is not a super common one for me to use, although depending on how this turns out, it might be, I wanted to use the full ounce. So, made those adjustments. Still, it's keeping the IBUs low at 18 and giving that Waiti a good chance to add its character.
Okay. All right. Sorry if I didn't catch it. Was that Waiti a Whirlpool edition or just a late edition?
30-minute.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
what's the alpha on that?
Enough time. It's real low. It's 2.5. So it's definitely not a bittering hop.
What drove the decision to make it at 30 minutes?
To get a certain amount of IBUs that I wanted while still being able to have it act as a flavor hop. I didn't want to go any longer than that.
Okay.
Because I didn't want it to drive off those flavors and everything.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be able to pull as much of the bitterness out of it that I could.
Okay. All right. Did you not think maybe to bolster the bittering hop addition to do just that?
I did. I didn't have more.
You didn't. So that's okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of all right. The alphas on both of these are lower than what were expected. So what do I do? And I thought about trying to use the these guys from Yakima, but I didn't want to screw with that just yet. I'm gonna plan a pail or something to try these guys.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to plan an entire brew day around using that. That's not one that
That's
you
what
can
I'm saying, like a higher. Yeah, higher IBU pale ale or something, just in case I really screw it up. It's Yeah. So
I'm just saying that that's not one of those things that for never using, you wouldn't call an audible on a brew day and be like, okay, I need to go bust these out and take care of the hop problem that I might have. So
right, yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah, not the first time around.
Yeah.
So my pre-boil was 1037, the way it should be. My original gravity, 1045. I had about 5.5 gallons of total, a little less, of total. Hey, Scott.
Hey, guys.
What's going on, man?
All right, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
No problem.
Good to see you.
We were just going over. I had a brew day over the weekend. We were just going over the recipe.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, we landed at George landed a gravity of 1037, was it?
For pre-boil. Yeah.
And pre-boil.
Then once once full boil was done, I had just under 5.5 gallons at 1045. And if all goes well, it should finish at about 1007-ish. Which last time it finished a little lower than that. So, the estimated ABV should be right about 5%.
All right.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
So I did use the RVA Chico RVA 101 yeast, which is from Richmond Yeast Labs, and you know what? It was real active. I put it on my counter this morning and then gave it a good shake to mix it up. By the time I got from my kitchen to my brew shed where my fermentation chamber is to pitch it, it had pressurized the little container to the point where when I opened it, some yeast started to bubble out the top, which I was not prepared for. And then So then I pitched that in, and I'm just waiting for activity to start. I think by the morning it should be going.
Yeah. The packets they sell, is it 100 billion cells or is it bigger than that?
200.
It's 200. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, you're not
And-
going to be short of healthy yeast if you're just trying to take a beer down from about 1050 down to a little under 1010. Yeah,
Yeah, the
that
alcohol
yeast is going to
tolerance.
blast through that.
Yeah, the alcohol tolerance on their website was like 11% for this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm way under that. Now,
Yeah.
Beersmith is a much more conservative in its estimations, but even it said, don't even bother with the starter. You're good to go. You know,
I completely agree, and that was a topic
Yeah.
for my last brew club meeting, and that's probably good to bring up here. Beersmith does have a very reliable tool on the yeast portion, which I admit in the past I've not paid as much attention to as I should have. But the feedback given to me was I used a starter for a batch that really just was kind of unnecessary, because with a smack pack, I mean, because of the gravity and where I needed to end at, I didn't need to increase my cell count from the count of an actual smack pack. So I was like, that makes perfect sense to me. So I mean, basically, the advantage would be that it's going to take off quicker, but that's going to be about it. I'm not really adding much else from doing a starter. I think that probably reigns true with this recipe here that you're talking about, just because of the lower original gravity.
for sure.
Yeah.
What style of the beer was that?
Yeah, it was a shandy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, absolutely. And RVA actually, because they do so many cells, they actually recommend you don't do a starter, because they've had people that have done a starter and it's overwhelmed the starter. It's overwhelmed the flask. It's like bubbled out of the flask.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to take their word for it. And it was plenty of, plenty of yeast, even according, like I said, to Beersmith. But, I do a starter when I use like white yeast or white labs. But, number one, their typical alcohol tolerance tops out at like 6% unless you get a high gravity one. So for the lot of the recipes we make, it's sometimes warranted, because we do, 7-8%.
Yeah.
So you want to increase that cell count.
Right.
But I always find it kind of, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm reading into it, but I think it kind of like refreshes the yeast and creates a new generation of active yeast. So you're right, it does take off a little faster, and I think it finishes a little cleaner too. Typically, but again, I might be reading into that.
I agree with those points. It definitely takes off quicker. It probably does finish cleaner. I agree with that also. I mean, in the end, one of the biggest pieces of feedback in that is make sure you're not, short pitching or under pitching.
Right.
I mean, because
unless
if
you're trying to,
there's specific styles where you underpitch for the purpose of stressing the yeast, and you create some very specific flavors as part of that activity. But outside of those, your beer's gonna see problems if you underpitch. So
typically,
make sure, So make sure you've got just enough healthy yeast. And how do you do that? You either pitch enough yeast from regular packets, or you do a starter, which is just going to increase your cell count as the starter turns. So,
well, and remember, this is the one I told you about last week, that when I bought it on Saturday and it had been packaged on Friday.
Yes, I do remember.
Oh wow!
It was less than a month old when I pitched it. So was. There's lots of cells in there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about the Herm setup. So this is the second time around for this. I imagine you saw that same difference with this round too. Your wort is as clean as you've ever seen it.
Oh my Lord, yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so clear. To the point where usually when even with a recirculation or a Vorloff, using the pitchers and things like we used to,
we'd still have those particulates in there, and you could kind of you kind of see them swirling around, and it a lot of times you couldn't see the hops, swirling around because you're seeing so many of those particulates and things.
Mm.
With this, like, the only thing that was particulate based was the hop pellets that, dissolved into the liquid. So
Okay.
as soon as I threw it into my catalyst, everything just settled down into the mason jar, and it is so clear.
Excellent. Do you wait for
I
everything
think
to
when I
settle
throw it
before you
into a
pitch?
glass. Yes. Yeah, I put everything in with some firm cap yesterday, and I didn't pitch until about midday today. So I
Okay,
gave it
yeah.
almost 24 hours to settle.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hit all your numbers. How long was the brew day?
Yep. Started at 11:30, ended at maybe a little bit. Started at about noon, ended at about 4:30.
It's not bad at all.
No,
Not bad at all.
no.
Yeah, over and done in 4.5 hours. You're doing really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well done, man.
I was tired afterwards, but
yeah. I honestly, I don't recall a brew day ever where I'm not tired when it's all done. But it's part of what
just
we
a
do.
Robo Brew down there, I bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How you been, Scott? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been a
no
minute.
complaints, guys. Yeah, it has. The summer is officially. I'm officially on summer vacation.
Right on.
Okay.
I'm sitting here right now working on a video for a bluegrass camp. Still working on videos day in and day out. And brewing wise, though, we're still doing the West New York Brews podcast every week, and I just bought a still attachment for my Robo Brew this past week.
So you're going to be a home distiller?
I'll be making water and essential oils, of course. And
Sure.
I just got some brown sugar to make some essential oils.
Okay.
Some brown sugar to make essential oils. Well, I think that's a very, very worthwhile use of the Robo Brew.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Yep, those oils aren't going to essential themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope if you have enough volume on hand that George and I may be able to partake.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm going to talk to one of the local distillers on the podcast soon, because I always need to pick brains once I get a new piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Does it give you a how not to blow up your garage instructions?
Yeah. My favorite quote so far has been a YouTube video that I watched of a guy using this exact setup. And he goes, "This is a very, very safe setup, unless you're a straight dumbass." Like, awesome.
See, my response would be like, okay, so just to be on the safe side, what if you are a straight dumbass?
Right, exactly.
He said it with a Georgian accent too. It was phenomenal.
Okay. Hey, do you know where Barker, New York is?
Oh yeah, that's not far away at all.
Okay.
Why?
Well, I am drinking
In the mix?
cider. Drinking a cider from there. Blackbird.
From Blackbird. You got Blackbird out by you? That's awesome.
Yeah, at Wegmans over by us. So.
That makes total sense. Yep.
Yeah. Also a New York company. So. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Barker is not far at all. Blackbird Cider Works. They also have a location in the city in Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah.
So which one is that? The semi-dry?
Semi-sweet.
Semi-sweet. All right.
Yeah.
My favorite from them is a Buffalo Bluegrass, which is a semi-dry cider aged in bourbon barrels, Kentucky bourbon barrels.
Okay.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So Barker is Niagara County. So, by Niagara Falls.
So a little north of you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe you knew where that was, but.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I have been to.
Hey, before we get.
Been to there a couple of times.
Okay. Before we get away from this, I just want to say that so obviously I pitched today. I'm gonna let it ferment at 69 to 71 degrees. That's where my temperature controller is set. And and then once that's done, in secondary, I'm gonna do 1.5 lemons and 1.5 limes.
Nice.
And that's where the lemon lime aspect is gonna come from. So I'm gonna use the juice and the rind from that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's going to
So,
come through strong. What was the secondary edition last time?
2 of each, and that was a little too strong.
Yeah.
In my mind, I wanted to dial it back a little bit. So that was, it's 1.5 gallons more, and I'm removing effectively 1 whole piece of fruit from the mix.
Yeah.
So
I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit less in your face lemon lime this time around.
You used the rind last time also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how much that adds to it, but yeah.
I feel like it should, right?
George, you've been around me when I've done this. Every time I've made a mulled wine before, it always calls for the full rind of fruit.
True. That's true.
And I've had that same thought. I really don't know what this is contributing, but I'm not gonna challenge what works.
Right.
Because I've made the same recipes several times over, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
right. Yeah. So I've already got the fruit, just waiting for the fermentation to be done and to clean up. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
Right on.
So
can we talk a little bit about home distilling? Is that okay?
Yeah, I know very little about it.
Yeah, I was going to say I know even less. I know nothing. But right when you mentioned that, I was reminded that I got a message on Facebook a couple weeks ago from an old friend of mine, and they were asking about how much experience I had with any home distilling kits or anything of that sort. And I had to respond and say I've never done anything on that in that space before, so I can't contribute much at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like I should know something, so I'm glad this is coming up now.
Well, the distilling process, you create a alcoholic substance, basically beer, and then you reboil that and capture the more of the alcohol and some of the liquid into a new container,
right?
Thus creating a stronger and more refined liquor. I mean, is that at 30,000 foot good description?
Right. That sounds about right.
But is that is that process the same on a home level as opposed to a professional distillery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the rum, and I'm not going to boil that. I might boil it just for safety reasons. But I'm going to mix the rum. I equate the first part of it to making if I'm mashing with grain, it would be just like making a beer, but like making a wine kit where I'm just putting the sugars together. I mean, brown sugar doesn't need to be converted into anything. So as long as I can dissolve it and make sure it's all in suspension, then I can ferment that and then take that wash and bring it up to the alcohol boiling point.
So wash, is that the pre-distilled liquid term in distilling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still wort before it's fermented, and then it's wash.
And then it's wash. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then is there a post-distilled liquid?
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
Right. Depends on what it is. I mean, with brown sugar, it's going to be rum. With grain, with grain, it's going to be a whiskey.
Well, and the reason why I ask that is because I know, you can have triple distilled, quadruple distilled. So if you're going to distill it again, is it just wash again, and then your final product is
It would be at that point it would be runs. There's a stripping run, and then there's the distilling run, and that one has the heads, the heart, and the tails, and then you mix those in. Well, not the heads. You throw the heads out. That's the one that'll kill somebody. Which, by the way, with beer, one of the first things everyone says is, "Oh, you're not going to kill anybody." It'll be
real hard.
Safe. It'll be safe to drink. It might taste bad, but it'll be safe. And with this one, like one of the first things people tell you is discard that first 50 milliliters because otherwise you're going to kill somebody.
Why?
Wow.
Because that's the methanol at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's no good. It's like,
can you see the difference?
No.
So you just have to go on blind faith that you're catching all the methanol.
Yes.
All right.
Wow. Now, because of that, the instructions that come with this kit say to discard the first 200 milliliters, as in 4 times the amount that you need. But I probably will do that anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because remember what we were saying in the beginning about making this idiot proof? Yeah, I mean that's following the same thought process, I think.
Yeah, it'd be good to be idiot proof.
Yeah.
So this essential oils that you're going to get out of this, do you have like a small barrel or something to throw it into?
No, I have oak spirals and I have oak chips.
Okay.
And that's what's going to happen.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're going to char them? Because I know that's a big part of the barrel.
No, you just buy them like that.
So it's pre-charred?
I hope so.
Okay. Because a lot of the spirals I've seen have, some of them don't have charring. So
didn't we throw our spirals in the oven to create that charring effect, George?
I think we did that just to disinfect it, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
When people char it, they actually for a barrel, they take a blowtorch to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll look that up while we're talking.
Okay.
Which a buddy of mine just did, one of those handheld blowtorches, just did that to a yellow jacket nest attached to his house. I'm like, dude, you're gonna burn your place down. But he really wanted them dead.
So yeah, it looks like you can get charred spirals.
Okay.
From Adventures in Homebrewing, label peelers. I'd be willing to bet my local homebrew store has some.
Do you have? Go ahead.
Another guest is going to join us here in a minute. Keep talking.
Awesome.
Okay. Do you have do you have a blowtorch? Because I imagine the one you got is not charred. Do you have a blowtorch you could just char it?
Kinda. I have a one of the small handheld oxygen torches.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yep. Yeah, for plumbing.
Or one of those not a flamethrowers from Mr. Musk.
No, I don't have one of those. Not a flamethrower. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
Nope, looks like a flamethrower.
Not a flamethrower.
It was funny. He sold a bunch of them to raise capital for the Boring Company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
They were very much, quote unquote, not a flamethrower.
I love that.
So, yeah. Yep. So I had a little bit of an update on the porter situation at the bar. Apparently they've gotten some request for an encore batch there. So I think we're going to scale that up and maybe dial back the alcohol just a little bit. Since a lot of his stuff is more, 4, 5, 6% in that range. And we might do it on his system.
I didn't hear about this porter, so I'm just listening.
Yeah, sorry. No. Yeah. So, like 2 weeks ago, I took a porter that I made that I just didn't think I was going to drink 5 gallons of over to a local brewery, and they put it on tap on a Saturday, and they went in on Monday, and I was a little disappointed because I didn't see it on their board. And I thought maybe they forgot or decided not to or something like that. And then he brought out my corny keg and said, "Yeah, it lasted about half a day," and they sold it all out. So that was a little bit of an ego boost for me.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And now you're getting scaled up.
Now we're talking about scaling it up. Yeah.
Moving
Yeah.
up in the world. That's awesome news.
Yeah. So yeah. Are we do we have a party crasher coming in?
We do. It's going to be 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we can we can carry on.
Okay. All right, cool. So
what do you have besides the essential oil project, Scott? What else you got brewing?
That's it right now. The sour that I sent you guys
Yeah.
is still on tap here, and I need to start brewing this week or this weekend to get some more stuff going because we are dangerously low on homebrew.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, that
All
sounds
right.
good.
What's next for you?
New England IPA for sure. Probably do another sour just because we like to always have that on tap here. Of course, a couple of the essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
Got to start those moving.
Yep.
And then I don't know. I haven't looked past that.
Okay.
Oh, I have that pound of. I don't even remember what kind I bought.
Grain?
So I might do a smash. A pound of hops, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I might do a smash. The Yakima Valley coupon.
Yes.
I got a pound of
yes,
something.
yes. Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember it's one I've never used.
Okay.
But yeah, probably do a smash beer with that one too.
Right on.
Okay.
You know what I'll do if it doesn't turn out? Is I will distill it.
Now, if you were to distill a hopped liquid like that, would it just strip all the bitterness out?
From what I hear, yes, that the hops don't affect it.
That makes
Okay.
sense to me. I can't imagine the hops kind of staying through all that.
Right? Like
Through all that heat.
Okay.
a hopped version of any alcohol any spirit that you've had, I think the hop is added afterwards.
I don't think I've ever had a hop
Yeah.
spirit.
I don't
Have you,
haven't
Jason?
either. Nope.
Yeah.
I have, and I don't like them.
Okay. So how does this thing look? Is it just like a cone cap thing
Yep.
that
A
attaches to
copper
the top
dome.
of the... Okay.
A copper dome and then like a cane, like a copper cane coming out of it.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to look this up and I'll share my screen when I find it.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
Grainfather still attachment from Still Spirits. It's the Alembic. Oh, I got Summit hops. I looked it up.
Because that's the name for that piece, that cane
That type
piece
of
is the
hop,
Alembic, right?
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, you ready?
Yep, that's it.
Ah. What's that bugger run?
About 300.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be cheap. Okay.
You don't like
and then we bought local. So
Okay.
I'm sure I could have found a better deal than that, but
I
nowadays-
mean, being all copper like that, I doubt it. Yeah.
I mean, you get every once in a while like homebrew finds. I'm sure you guys follow homebrew finds.
Mm-hmm.
Comes up
Yeah.
with a good deal on these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often find myself retweeting homebrew finds on certain things that I stumble upon.
Do I need to be giving free plugs to homebrew finds? Is that my next?
Hey, only
project.
if at checkout they can use code Jason.
Code Jason.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get my practice on that one. Not a problem.
Okay. All right. Get our marketing person on that one.
Is the marketing person not in front of me right now? Is that?
It may or may not.
Yeah.
Can I confirm or deny, as people say.
So yeah,
We
man.
we have talked about, and I don't think you were on the episode where we talked about this, but we had a show that was dedicated to the topic of spunding valves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Fermenting under pressure.
I'm sorry. Yes, fermenting under pressure. Yeah, and we traded emails about that. So, Paulie and I have plans to brew a Marzen in the month of July, and I think George does too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So-
pressure ferment it.
Yep.
And pressure
ferment.
All right.
ferment it.
I'll
Yep.
do that too.
Mhm.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
which means
All right.
I gotta get a few things. I gotta get a spunding valve, and I'm gonna get
Me
a
too.
floating dip tube as well.
Yes.
Are you going to do it?
So-
Are you going to do it in a keg? Are you going to get a keg spunding valve? Or are you going to?
That's my
All right,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But so instead of hacking off the bottom of a dip tube, I'm just gonna grab a floating dip tube.
Yeah.
So I can.
They are nice.
That's what I hear. And
Have you
they're
used
not
one before,
that
Scott?
expensive.
Yeah,
You have? Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah. I use it for my New England IPAs because I used to hate getting stuck.
Yeah, because of all those hops, the late additions. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
I'm going
All
to mute
right.
for a second. Excuse me.
Yeah, not a problem.
it'll actually save some CO2 in the long run too,
Yeah.
because it'll self-carbonate, for at least
Yeah.
to a point, and
Yeah.
then
It's going to be an interesting project.
I wonder, does Beersmith have a ferment under pressure? Did I ask this before?
I think we talked about it. I don't think we got the answer.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. We did talk about that before, and I looked, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Actually, it's fermentation. It doesn't have any fermentation add-ons, which is a little strange. But yeah, okay. So I was just gonna follow, basic lager guidelines
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my July project too. Is
Yeah.
the Marzen.
Yeah.
So
I still want to do it. I still want to do a New England too. And I think one of my limiting factors is going to be when I can get a keg empty.
okay.
So,
Yeah. Maybe we got to get those Play-Doh scales that we found.
for the spunding valves?
No. Remember that the Play-Doh, the one with the digital airlock, that they also had the scales that are designed to go inside of your keezer, and you just put your keg on top of it, and then you could pull it up on your phone how much is left in it.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Totally unnecessary and
Yeah,
expensive, and I kind of
was
want
gonna
one.
say, yeah. I was gonna say, like, there's so many things that could do that same thing. Like, yeah.
Like a bathroom
it's-
scale.
Yes.
Like a bathroom, but
Yes.
but you don't have to take the keg out to measure it.
No,
I
in
mean,
a keezer, I guess. Ours, we can just see it.
Okay.
Just see
But yeah.
the display, and not a digital one. Dial one.
Right.
So just put it
Dial
on and you
one,
can
yeah.
see the dial.
Yeah. But no. Yeah, totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I kind of want one.
But you kind of want one. See, this is an example of some of the crazy things that people sell to homebrewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah,
a
it
certain
is.
effect of it's like, ooh, that's pretty cool. I should have that.
Yeah. Am I gonna drop, a Benjamin on it? No. But if they're like, hey, you want to try one out? Yeah, I'm gonna.
Sure. Go do that.
I know.
I know, right?
Oh, man.
It's far too
It's an
early
hour
for
later
that noise.
here.
No, I know.
Not here.
No excuse for me. It's not even 7 o'clock. Oh, what else? What
yeah.
else? What else? What else? How is the world in Buffalo, New York these days?
This week
Yeah.
is phenomenal. I don't know what the weather for you guys is this week, but it's been like 3 days of beautiful weather in a row, and this whole week
It's
is going
nice
to be
here.
82 and sunny.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And is life open? What is
For the most
up?
part.
Sean McTiggy
Hey.
from Mad Hatchet Brewing in
Hey,
Shorewood, Illinois.
Sean, how's it going, man?
You're on mute, my friend.
Mad Hatchet Brewing.
Yes.
Looking it up.
Got nothing, man.
We are phase 4 tomorrow. Sorry.
Okay, so you guys have not hit phase 4 just yet. Tomorrow is the first day. Okay, got it.
Yes.
So tap rooms have been still closed up until this point?
Tap rooms are open at 25% capacity or
Okay.
50% capacity right now.
Okay.
And masks, and whenever you're moving around, you wear a mask.
Okay.
And people around here have been following it really well for the most part.
Good.
That's
Can you
good.
guys hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
there you
can.
are.
Welcome,
There we
Sean.
I got my Call of Duty
Hey.
kicking little kid's ass on Call of Duty headphones on, so I had to.
Yeah,
Set
yeah,
it
you
up.
do.
You're moving up in the world
Yeah.
headphones wise.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be tactical to kick those little kids' butts now. So,
Yeah.
So
how you guys doing?
Then
So yeah, we talked up George's Brew Day for the first part of the show. Talked with Scott a little bit. Scott is, and actually this leads me to a question I'd like to ask you, because where Scott's at is in Buffalo, New York, and they enter phase 4 later this week. Their tap rooms have been open to about 25 to 50% capacity, and people are kind of listening. Like I guess the reopening has gone pretty well in his area.
Mhm.
So being that you guys just had your first weekend of quote unquote reopening, how did you guys find it? Were people cooperative, or any big surprises?
Oh yeah. I mean, all our patrons have been super awesome.
Okay.
What is that?
Hold on, I got this little guy. He wants to get involved here.
What's going on,
Why
guys?
don't you go watch a movie? You're live on the internet now. This is the first appearance of Rory. All right, go play.
and obviously had a popsicle or something.
Yeah. You just got done with dinner. But yeah, no. Our patrons have been awesome about respecting the rules, and we've, everyone. My whole thing with this thing is everyone's at a different place with it, so just respect everyone else's opinion. If someone says, "Hey, you're too close to me," back up. That's. And that's kind of how we've been handling it at the brewery. I think that's all of our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But man, was it good to just see people inside this week.
Yeah.
And not just hand my beer out the door and go, I'm relying on Untappd to know if you like it. Like I can talk to you here. That was probably me. The past couple of weeks we've had the patio, and the first night I hung out because we opened the patio. I was actually out of town for the weekend. We opened the patio, and then it was 2 Friday nights ago, I hung out and I just went to bed with a smile on my face at the end of the day, just being able to talk to people again. And it's some sense of normalcy. And I mean, we put a lot of work into our patio too. I'm not gonna lie about that. So it was cool to see people enjoy it. So yeah, it was good times. I heard talk about flamethrowers earlier. I was kind of half listening, eating, and then feeding my, doing dishes. I think Jason sent me the link, and he was like, "Oh, we got someone else joining us." I was like, "Give me 10 minutes. I got to do these dishes."
So, do you have experience, Sean, of distilling in any form?
No, but I've been looking into it a lot on a home scale, not a Manhattan scale. So if anybody's watching this, I'm looking at my blinds now. But no, we were talking.
See if some guys in colored suits are looking out.
me and a friend were talking about now's the perfect time to buy a distiller because you can just say I'm making hand sanitizer.
Yes.
If you're gonna buy if you're gonna buy one, now's the time to do it. So I've been looking at it, and especially I'm a big whiskey guy. Home brewing is 50% of whiskey brewing. I have all the equipment to get that far. So it's it's definitely intrigued me as of late. I'll say that.
All right.
I didn't
the
really
flamethrowers
know.
were.
Go ahead, George.
Oh, God, Jason. I was gonna say the flamethrowers were for charring oak spirals and things like that as well.
Oh,
We were
okay.
talking about that. Might be a little overkill, but
Yeah. Well, we had one. All the wood inside our brewery is not stained. It's just treated with a flamethrower. So
okay.
Yeah, and then even when we were doing the patio, we had to break it back out again. When we were getting the patio, we like bought picnic tables, stuck the flamethrower to them to make them look, So it I have a lot of experience with that. It gets old after a while. You think it wouldn't not get cool, but like I think we have 184 pieces of 1x6 paneling that we burnt in the brewery. And I can tell you by the end of it, I was like, yeah, this isn't as fun anymore.
You weren't loving the smell of napalm in the morning?
Well, I mean, just walking into the brewery, the fire detectors weren't in then. So,
okay.
But just smelling burning pine was kind of nice. It was like, oh, I'm going camping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Jason, you. Oh,
go ahead. No, that's it. Man.
I was gonna say.
I
Jason,
lost my train of thought. So
lost it. All right.
Yep. Wasn't important.
Nah, it's all right.
What is on tap at the brewery?
Actually, we just tapped the new hazy, and I mean we've been open a year now. Where we had our nice COVID anniversary, with no one there, just to go. But we've been open a year now, and this new hazy we have on tap is the best hazy we've ever done. Like I think we finally got it figured out. Me and Kevin Promise is working for us now too, since last time I joined you. So he's been a blast to work with. I love that guy to death. He's been on your guys' podcast or this live stream or whatever. Yep. And then, but yeah, so he's been a blast to work with. And so we kind of put it all together with this last hazy. And it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite hazy we've ever brewed. I will say it's not my favorite thing I've ever brewed because I just get tired of brewing hazies, but they sell so good. We got to keep brewing them. Mm-hmm. I enjoy them. I'm not saying I don't enjoy them, but it's just like, if we don't have at least one of them in the tank, we're brewing one, type of thing. And the creativity of, where you're home brewer, you're like, I'm going to do this adjunct, all this fun stuff. Yeah. Kind of goes, I mean, the only thing you have is hops. Like you just change the hops on it every time. But yeah, super, with all that said, super proud of this hazy we have on tap right now.
So let me ask you a controversial question around that same topic.
Mm-hmm.
Hazy's, New England's. Is it still IPA?
Yes and no. And I will go with this. I stopped calling it a New England IPA when Chicago took home 2 of the 3 medals in Great American Beer Fest. So I was like, it's not a New England anymore. It's just a hazy. We own it.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So if the people in the Northeast aren't dominating the category,
they don't own it anymore. We took it over. Chicago owned it.
I mean, we're not. I don't know. Western New York really isn't New England for sure.
Yeah. You're the closest one to it, though, so I had to apologize to you.
That's for sure. But
it's
hate
a rebuilding
all things
year,
Boston,
right, Scott?
So
yeah. But no, I think it's, what I love about them, and right now with the craze, I don't even think it's a craze anymore. It's just a thing. Like that's the first thing that people drink. We go through our kegs of that quicker than anything. But my favorite thing about it is you'll get someone. We've gotten a lot of like locals that aren't into craft beer, just want to drink, support local business. Our menu's designed. We have our first tap is a cream ale. We don't have enough tank space to do a lot of lagers yet. We have done one, but so it's kind of like if you're new to craft brew, start here and work your way to the higher numbers. Mm-hmm. But we've had a lot of people who are like, I don't like hops, and it's like, no, you don't like bitterness. and then I slide them a hazy, and then a couple months later, they're drinking our full blown IPAs. So I think it's a
But
good
that's so true.
Yeah, it's a great introductory IPA. So I'll call it an IPA just for that, because it gets people into IPAs.
Yeah, I mean, when people say they don't like hops, you hit the nail on the head. They don't like bitterness. They don't like the West Coast hop bombs,
Yeah.
And yeah.
But it's nice because going from Bud Light to 120-minute Dogfish Head is like, no one's gonna like that. I'm just going. That's was the big thing when I started drinking craft beer, where I would try to share with my buddies, and they're like, "This is horrible." Yeah, you were drinking Bud Light before this, like type thing.
Right.
But when you work them up there and you get them a little bit of our hazies normally around 20 to 25 IBUs. I don't know which guys homebrew hazies are, but yeah, it's like that 20 to 25 IBUs is nothing. That's like you're almost. I think at Irish Red you try to keep it around below 20. Like English Brown, same thing. So you're just kind of creeping in that territory, but you're telling them this is what we taste beyond the bitterness. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, you made me think about it. I don't think I've made a hazy. In fact, I know I haven't.
I haven't either.
I gotta put that on the list.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys own breweries right now, you would be out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess it's good I don't.
Yep. Point well taken.
Yeah,
I definitely know that's what people are buying. No question.
Yeah, we can't. We do this. We actually just sold out of it. So this is a horrible time to bring it up, but I'll do it anyway. We do this key lime milkshake IPA that people just go. We brewed it twice, and we put a bunch of graham cracker in the mash, vanilla and key lime puree in secondary, and the graham cracker just pops on it on the back end of the tartness with the key lime. People go nuts for it, and I'm not a big milkshake guy. I like it because I brewed it how I would like it. Me and Mike brewed it how we would like it, I should say, not just myself. I don't want to take all the credit here, but and people just go. We just put it on because it's one of the beers we were brewing for anniversary, but anniversary didn't happen, so we put it on. And to go beers, it was sold out in like a month.
Wow!
And that's insane for us. So I was telling Mike, I was like, we might have to do this a couple times a year. Like people, it's like if I can relate it to a Chicago land brewery, it's like when Hop Butcher comes out with Blaze. Not that we're Hop Butcher, but it's like when they come out with Blaze Orange, it's just like you better be there when it gets delivered type stuff.
Yeah,
but we don't do any distribution, so it's just like it's just flying out the door. But yeah,
Jason, make sure that we stay familiar with Hop Butcher on this show here.
I have, yes.
I just had one. I had one of their new ones. I was delivering beer to Iron and Glass, and I had one the other day. I can't tell you what the name was, but it was awesome. I mean, they're just hop wizards. They just honestly, like when we're looking at a hop we've never used before, I go on their webpage. It's like, what'd they put it with? Because they print their house right on the can, like that's kind of a jump off point for us. I was like, okay, this new hazy we did is Equinaut and Citra, and I think that's where we jumped off on. I was like, well, and they had done an Equinaut Citra mosaic, and I was like, well, I know what Citra tastes like, and I want to know what this hop tastes like because this is the first time I've ever used it, period. Not even on a homebrew scale. Equinaut is pretty new around the board, but and so we just went Citra Equinaut just so I could be like, this is what the Equinaut's bringing to the table, type thing.
Okay.
But for anybody brewing their first hazy, do a Citra Eldorado. Eldorado is a cheat code. Like it's just
that's a great tip. Citra
Yeah.
Eldorado. That should be a go-to combination.
That's the up, down, left,
Eldorado
right, up,
as
down,
the-
left, right, A/B select start. That's what it is.
So, Eldorado as the flavor hop, I assume, right?
Yeah. Probably like 2-to-1, 2-to-1 Citra to Eldorado. Use
Citra
Eldorado.
Eldorado. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when we brew hazy, there's not a hop in the boil. We're on an electric system, so the boil, once it's stable, it's stable. So we got a B-dubs across the street. So we'll go there and eat some wings and drink some beer for an hour and a half because we do nothing but 90-minute boils. We'll come back and we'll just be at the end of the boil, because there's nothing going in. We do add yeast. We'll go back and add yeast nutrient, but other than that, it's like you're not going to add Werflock to it or Irish moss to it, because it's a hazy. There's no hops going into it, so yeah, we go get a couple of wings and smash a couple Goose Islands while we're at that.
I had a question for you. You've done both homebrew and the pro brew. I was thinking about it. I recently upgraded to a Herm system, and I'm getting significantly clearer beer. But what didn't really shoot up a whole ton, it did shoot up a little bit, but not a whole ton, was overall mash efficiency.
Really? What were you at before?
Yeah. I'm usually I'm pretty much at like between 68 and 70% at the moment.
Okay, that's not horrible.
No, it's good. I'm happy with it. I just, now as I'm going through in my homebrew journey, I'm wondering if I want to do some research into what I might be able to do to make that better.
So you're on propane, right?
I am.
Okay. Where are you taking your mash temperature at? I assume in the middle of the mash tun kettle?
I am taking the temperature of the water that is re-entering the kettle in the Herm system. I've got an inline thermometer. It's
going to make my answer harder because I figured you were doing the latter. But yeah, so obviously, even home brewing, we were doing electric. So we would set our Herms was in the HLT, and we would set it like if we're doing a mash at 152, we would set it so we're entering at 152. Because anytime you're creeping up,
that's just what I'm doing.
I'm going to repeat something obvious here, just in case anybody's watching. But anytime you creep up higher in the mash temperature, you're going to get that unfermentable sugar. So your efficiency might even look good, but then you're always under attenuating. So, and are you doing it the full time? I should. The full 60 minutes?
Yeah, I am. Full 60 minutes. Yeah, I should clarify, my Herm system is actually driven by a sous vide that's in the HLT. So I've got a coil in there, and then there's a sous vide that is maintaining the water temperature in there. So technically, my Herm system is
in accordance with what's going in. It's maintaining temperature in accordance with what's going into your mash tun, falling off your sparge arm.
So it's pulling out of the bottom, going through the coil, and then back in through a sparge apparatus.
How many gallons are you brewing at a time?
5.
5?
5.
I don't know. That the one thing. Yeah, the one thing I would say is, I think we had this discussion last time I was on, but as a home brewer, I didn't care about efficiency. That's kind of just,
I don't really care either. It's just one of those things like, what can I do now?
You took the red pill, you're going down the rabbit hole, and you
exactly.
I think I recall you're a baseball guy too, so you're into the stats of it all. So
no, that's me.
No,
that was you. Okay. I might have said that exact same thing last time.
That's what your memory is proving to be quite good, though.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is,
I can't remember what I ate for dinner 20 minutes ago, but I'll tell you about our last conversation.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
so I was never big on efficiency because on a homebrew scale, I was brewing 10 gallons. On a 5-gallon system, you're talking about $3 more worth of grain, in most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more of an intellectual exercise for me, of
yeah.
what could I do kind of
So
thing.
I think most homebrewers settle on this is just what my efficiency is. At least I got it dialed in. If you really wanted to improve your efficiency, put rice hulls in every beer. Every beer. It's
try that.
Whenever, if you use on a 5-gallon, let's just say you're doing an APA, use a half pound of rice hulls. Just get it mixed in there.
Okay.
I bet your efficiency goes up to 80. And then this is something I didn't learn until I was a pro brewer because I just settled in on but we put rice hulls in everything. But you do something with flaked oats, flaked corn, like a hazy or a big stout or even a cream ale, because that flaked corn will just turn into concrete in your mash. And then all the water will just flow around it.
Yeah.
Then you double up. You go a pound per 5 gallons. I did the biggest thing I ever did was a 13% stout as a home brewer. Jason actually tried it. It was a peanut butter stout.
Yeah.
And I think I used, but for a 10-gallon batch, my mash tun was one of those we're filling this thing with Coors Light and going out on a boat for a weekend mash tun coolers.
Right.
It's that big igloo white one,
Yeah.
So I mean, I could hold a lot. I had that thing maxed out, and I think I hit 75% efficiency, but I used 4 pounds of rice hulls as a home brewer to make 10 gallons.
Wow. Okay.
Because I had the flaked oats in there, I had the flaked barley, and just how big it was.
It does make sense to me, and this last one had flaked wheat.
Wheat,
not a whole lot.
I've always on a 10-gallon batch. I have a wheat that I've been brewing that I started as a home brewer, and we still brew at the brewery. It's like one of our regular things on. We just changed the fruit we adjunct it with. But yeah, flaked or not flaked wheat is horrible for efficiency.
Okay.
I would try thing.
I would try that when we do our July project. I'm going to throw a generous amount of rice hulls in and see what happens.
Yeah, try it. I bet your efficiency will climb. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
What are they? I don't know what they're at our local home. I know what we pay for.
They're cheap.
It's cheap. It's
cheap.
It's cheap. It's not going to mess with your flavor, and it's just going to make you more efficient. The only thing is, though, if you're trying to brew a spot-on beer, that's why it was, we had this discussion before, where you're just trying to I brewed this beer the second time, I want to nail it again. That's why I never cared about. I knew what my efficiency was. I was there. I was at 60, 68 is what I built every homebrew recipe at, and I was normally within a what would it be, 1,000th of a point of my target OG every time.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah,
and I'm consistent with mine right now because, like I said, I'm consistently at between 68 and 70%. I just, and that's what I have my equipment dialed into is that. But like I said, I was just thinking about it. Sorry.
Are you in a cooler for your mash tun?
Round igloo with a false bottom.
Yeah, the standard.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, standard homebrew setup. Yeah,
I'm kind of nostalgic for those days.
So yeah.
What
okay.
are the
all right? I will give that a shot.
What are the benefits of using rice hulls? I always hear it talked about as far as smoothing out the what's the word I'm looking for? The
sparge?
No, the drainage.
Yeah, that's the only thing it's good for. It'll go between like if you're using flaked oats or flaked corn, it'll go between it, just open space.
Yeah.
Because if you don't use it, it's your sparge water is just hitting your flaked corn and that turns into a cement block.
Yeah.
And it's just going around it instead of going through it. And collecting all that sugar.
That makes that makes sense.
The only thing it does is increase efficiency. That is literally all it won't mess. There's no flavor. You know, I know Budweiser says they like to use rice. This is different than rice.
Yes.
Right.
But
yeah,
and it does
that's
not
a good
absorb
idea.
water.
I'm gonna try that. I think a negligible amount.
no,
right?
what you want to do? I don't. I think. Oh, I just noticed I had
Yeah, you did.
little guy there. What you want to do is you guys are Beersmith users, if I recall correctly. You want to add that to your grist because that will change your mash water or strike water volume, and it will adjust that. But other than that, I mean, it's so cheap. Why not? But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I guess if I can quote Forrest Gump.
It's all good. All good.
So it did change my mash a little bit. You know, I just added it to my recipe that I just
your
did.
volumes.
Yeah, my volume's a little bit, but I think it added like 0.25 gallon, like negligible amount of water.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And if you forget to do it, it's not going to screw up your brew day. You'll still be efficient, and
Right.
You'll just be at a 1.1 mash ratio instead of a 1.25 or whatever. You know.
Right.
What are you drinking tonight, Sean?
Iron and Glass got all these Modern Times beers, so I got a bunch of them going down. They're a San Diego brewery, and when I lived in San Diego, they weren't around, so I was super curious about them. They're all really good. I mean, they're no Chicago brews, but
Right on. Right on. I enjoyed tonight from our friends at Metal Monkey.
oh yeah, we got them on tap. We got that beer on tap at our brewery right now because when we opened back up, we ran out. We were just, we were on like 7 of our tap handles were on one keg.
Are you serious?
And they just went choop, 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 choop. And we're like, all right, we need some other beer on tap. So we're back to brewing like full schedule now.
Yeah, yeah. Because you guys have a lot of fermenters there, don't you?
We have 3 and then 1 bright.
Okay.
Sometimes you can fudge it a little, like if you got a beer that doesn't, that you're not dry hopping or whatever, and you can just move it to the bright, so and open up another fermenter.
Okay.
And do you serve from that bright?
Full?
What's that? I got 2 people talking at once. What was that last question?
You did. Jason, go ahead.
Okay. Are all 3 of them full now?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Right on.
and we have got a sour in that a sour doesn't really need a long fermentation. So we're looking to move that to the bright so we can brew either before 4th of July or the day after. I don't know. So we're trying not to brew on Independence Day here, but
Got it. Right on. George, sorry to walk over you. What you want to throw?
No, you're good,
throw a
man.
question out?
First of all, what's more American than brewing beer? So there's that. Just don't feel bad if you have to.
well, I gotta say
my
silver
question
now.
was, do
That's the
you
big problem.
serve that? I do understand that. Do you serve from the bright tank, or do you just use it as like a carbonation?
No,
vessel
honestly,
and then
our fermenters are all unit tanks, so I would say probably 80% of our beer never touches the bright. It's just a lager, or we just brewed a West Coast this last weekend, and I think you guys will be happy to know that when we close at night, I have a Tupac radio station playing in the brewery just so the West Coast knows what coast it's from. I mean, I've read a lot of beer forums, and I think it makes a difference. So, all
right.
That guy I want that guy to be like, you can read your watch through the other side of it. So anything we're trying to get super clear. But other than that, we'll just gelatin in the unit tanks for anything that, I mean, I'm trying to think of an example. Like our American wheat that the last version we did of it was raspberries and blackberries. That got gelatin in the tank, it got tagged right out of the tank. But anything that I think I said this last time I was on with you guys, but as soon as I got good brewing clear beer, that's when it went out of style. So you don't have to do it with much anymore.
Yeah. What was I going to ask? So you have unitanks. Do you do our next project in July is going to be a Marzen fermented under pressure. So have you guys done any fermentation under pressure there, or?
No, actually, I heard you guys talking about that earlier, and that's something we haven't done. I mean, for my entire time, I've been kegging beer and home brewing. And now the brewery, like we can just access CO2 on the wall. Like it's just never been a thing where I've needed to try it. So we've never done it. I will tell you this: our Marzen, though, since you brought up Marzen, we do with an ale yeast, and we'll brew it 3 weeks before we put it on tap. And
okay,
as home brewers, we won medals in lager categories with our ale yeast. We just use Scottish ale. I think it's White Lab
don't
Scottish
say that
ale.
too loud. I feel like Don't say that too loud. I feel like people are going to revoke your medals.
I don't care. I'm a pro brewer now. They can't take away my home brewing medals. But yeah, both Mike and I won. I actually lagered mine. Mike was the one who did this. And we both won in the same competition at one point. I took second, or I don't remember how it went, but I got too many homebrew medals to remember them all.
I see how you are.
I feel like a rapper right now, just bragging about stuff. But no, yeah, I can't remember what. But yeah. So when the brewery's open, and we were getting ready to do our first Marzen, we just didn't have the tank space to do a lager, so we just went with that. And I mean, I loved it. There was talking about efficiency between because we did 2 batches of it, so we wouldn't run out of it. Our first batch was 5.6%. Our second batch was 7.2. I wasn't there during the first brew day. And we had another brewer working for us at the time. So I have no clue what happened. But all of a sudden I was like, this second Marzen is 7.2. And we put it on. People still liked it. They just got drunker quicker, I guess.
So what was the target? Was it supposed to be a 5%?
About 5.5. About 5.5. Yeah.
5. Okay.
Yeah. Pushing 6, it isn't bad. We tended to, our whole thing is like, with our brewery is like, if you like it, drink it now, because it's going to be gone, and I'm not going to promise when we're going to brew it again. We have one beer that we keep on tap all the time, and it's just a cream ale, and that's for people who come and say, I like Bud Light, what do you got? Or Coors Light, or insert domestic beer here.
Yeah.
So, but other than that,
There's a water fountain over by the.
We're very experimental. Yeah, it's just we always, like I said earlier, we always have a hazy in the tank. It's new hops though, so yeah. So I forgot why I jumped off on that point, but I'm going to shut up now and let you guys. Scott, how you doing that down there?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm listening. I'm enjoying.
Yeah, I feel bad we haven't talked to you in a while.
No, that's good. This is all good.
I like this. This is very Brady Bunch. I like it.
Yeah.
Now Paul popped in and popped back out. What happened to Paul?
I imagine we'll probably see him in the next couple of minutes. I think he was. I think he's probably headed back home right now.
Since the last time I was on, he's been touring doing joint rolling demonstrations. So. He's probably very busy.
That beard was looking pretty impressive too.
I continue to remind him that he is now an icon in the joint rolling community.
Yes.
So, Sean, if I can ask you a homebrew question about that comment about the Marzen that was made with an ale yeast. Did you guys ferment right at the bottom part of the temperature scale of the yeast?
Ooh, man, I'd have to look.
Yeah.
I think we just went smack dab in the middle. That's Scottish ale yeast. Sorry, I have another kid of mine who wants to be famous on the internet.
This is the show to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you guys had as many views as Jimmy Kimmel last night, so they all heard about it. But anyway, so you said fermentation temperature on the mark. I think we just went middle of the road, man. And all we did was whatever gelatin we add to a beer that even as homebrewers, we added like if we added 1, we added 1.5. So we did 150%, just cleared the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it took care of it. It's I'll put it up against any Marzen out there. Like it holds up. And
okay.
If you don't need to age it for 3 months, why not?
Yeah. That's a very interesting way of going about it. I had not thought about that.
Didn't me and you, Jason, didn't we go? Were we like second, third, or something in a competition with our Marzen? Or am I screwing that up?
I took first place in a Marzen competition. It was for Brickstoberfest a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't do that one. I won in Hoppy Halloween up in I think it's Minnesota.
Okay.
But it was like right afterwards. That's why I think I tied it together in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that still is my one and only award from one of those outside competitions. So that was very cool.
Did you get on Charlie Order?
I still have not taken home an award from Charlie Order just yet.
Well, are you getting on it?
Oh, yes, because they just opened that up today. Yeah, I think I've got enough beer in the kegs that'll last until September when they do the judging.
What do you got in there?
So right now in the kegs, I've got an Irish Red. I've got a cream ale. Yeah, you like what you hear?
I love Irish Reds.
Yes, it's and I think I've got a pretty solid one.
I have a red Irish setter named Killian.
And then my third beer is a Scottish export, or at least I think that's the category it goes in. It was a day that I set out to make a wee heavy, and it just did not come out as a wee heavy. So
what do you mean less malty than you wanted, or
gravity was way off. Just it was not my best brew day.
Scottish wee heavy has become like one of my favorite wintertime beers now.
It is 100% one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Too. I have loudly been a follower for quite a while.
I remember we were a couple of years ago. I went to Workforce and I just drank everything on their menu, and I was like, "Let me try the Scottish wee heavy," and it was my favorite beer of the night. So then I brought Mike back like a week later. I was like, "Dude, drink the Scottish wee heavy." Then they did a barrel aged version of it. I was like, "Drink this," and actually, Church Street did a phenomenal Scottish. So now it's like it's just it was one of those things I used to avoid on a menu, and then you try it and you're like, oh, this is just malty bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Malty, sweet.
Agreed.
Caramelly goodness. Yeah.
Everything good in the world. I believe there's unicorn tears in every recipe.
Right. Well, it makes sense. It is the Scottish national animal. So
Yeah.
Leave it to the Scots to pick an animal, a mythical animal as their national animal.
I mean, I guess it's not a far
It's so
stretch.
appropriate.
I guess it's not a far stretch for me because I'm so into Irish Reds that a Scottish wee heavy is basically SRM wise, it's close to the same level, but it's just a malty caramel toffee bomb of deliciousness.
Mm. Yeah, no, I can't agree more. In fact, that is what I'm most bitter about this COVID stuff being, because I had a really solid wee heavy one that I entered in, and then it friggin' became hand sanitizer. You know.
Jeez.
I suppose I might be able to make hand sanitizer, right? On top of the essential oils.
You have the equipment for it, so yes.
Oh, is that where the distilling was going? That's why you guys you're talking about making essential oils, but you're not gonna get any whiskey in there, right?
No, of course not. It'll be distilled water and essential oils only.
Yes. Perfectly
and
legal.
Hand sanitizer.
Good. When you get your first batch of hand sanitizer, I'll give you my address because
All right.
I would love some of that hand sanitizer.
George just likes to pop up in random places.
I do.
Yeah, he's moving around. I think he's the Bobby of the Brady Bunch.
Sometimes I feel like the cousin Oliver.
Hey guys, I'm gonna. My laptop's getting low. I'm gonna go grab my charger. I'll be back in a minute, though.
Man.
Cool.
You got it. We'll be here.
All right.
Let's talk about him while he's gone.
I need a refill.
Yes.
You probably should.
Oh, he's still here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, we gotta hold down the fort. What are you doing? The edit right now? Is that what you're working on?
Right now, I'm working on one of my videos.
Editing?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ah, very cool.
Not one of the West New York Brews videos. One of the
the
Bluegrass Festival, all the kids playing in a grid kind of videos.
Yeah. I guess I'll take a second and give you a little plug for Tuesday's Songs and Takeout.
Yep. I'm in my broadcast room with all my instruments on the walls, and let's see, go this way, and then the keyboard in the center, and my pedals. That's where I am right now. That's
awesome. What's coming up this week?
We're doing repeats this week. So
okay.
Songs that we've already done.
That people are saying, "Hey, play it again."
Yeah, or just ones that we liked. Like, oh, I like the way that one turned out, so we'll do that one again.
Okay, all right. Can you tease a couple of them? What have some of them made the cut already?
Yeah, I mean Billy Joel.
Okay.
Elton John stuff. We did a Broadway night that was a lot of fun. First, probably Piano Man for sure.
Yeah.
Like Friends in Low Places, but it's repeat roulette, which means I'm not sure what songs are going to come up.
That is interesting. How does repeat roulette go?
Well,
do you have a wheel or something?
Songs. I do have a wheel. I don't think I'm going to program it into the wheel. I think I'm going to, because there's two ways of doing it. Long version.
Mm-hmm.
Short version is I'm just going to hit shuffle on the set list. That way, whatever comes up next will already be ready for me. Instead of if I actually do the roulette wheel and show it to people, then we have to wait for the wheel to stop, and then wait for me to get it up on all of my instruments and all of on my iPad.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So rather than all that waiting, I'm just going to go whatever song comes up next on the set list after I hit shuffle is what I'm doing.
For 2 seconds there, I just had a flash in my head of Tom Petty when you were talking about
Tom
waiting.
Petty song.
Yeah.
Why about waiting? Oh, the waiting is the hardest part.
Because the wait is the hardest part. And that is a what was it? Oh, God, I'm having a hell of a night here. That is a
I don't even know
where that is it's not quite, I wouldn't call it a deep cut for Tom Petty, but that's one of those lesser known, yeah. But I'll tell you, that's for me, that's a solid Tom Petty song.
All right. I've never been a huge fan of Tom Petty.
Punishing myself tonight. This is I must be atoning for something because I am drinking
Oh, that's not bad.
I'm gonna go get a refill still too. So guys, hold the fort down.
I sent you
Alright.
guys the Jenny creams, right?
Yeah, I already drank that one.
Okay, good. And did you get my
That's
sours?
not bad. That's not bad. I haven't yet, although I haven't checked the mail yet today either, so it might be in there.
Really? You
But
didn't get the
anytime-
sours yet?
Well, anytime you have tracking to my place and it says it'll be there on like Monday, it'll be there Tuesday or Wednesday. Like that's the way
Okay.
it works. So we just take that into account.
Okay. Yeah, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No
Should've had them by
worries. Yeah, I'm sure it'll get here.
I'm
I wonder if
looking up
Jason
'cause
got his.
I have to assume he did. I'm looking up the tracking numbers so that I can look it up.
Yeah.
Right there. Tracking numbers. I
Yeah.
sent it out on Thursday. Oh yeah, expected delivery is today. So okay. Oh no, today.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
so it'll be here soon.
All
Yeah,
right.
No worries. It'll be here soon. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
In Virginia
All
there.
right.
So Virginia, what's your football team?
Well, a lot of people in Virginia would say the Redskins.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, just because. Although there are some that go down to Carolina.
That's what I was
depending on
wondering
where
because
you are,
Cam
yeah.
Newton is now a
Yeah.
Patriot.
Right. Yes, he is. Yeah. So it all depends on kind of where you are. I think a good portion of the state tends to go towards Washington.
Makes sense.
And the same actually holds true for hockey too. There's a lot of
Capitals.
Washington fans and a lot of Carolina fans too.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
like the Carolina hockey team. I can't think of their.
Hurricanes.
Yeah, the Hurricanes. They beat us in the playoffs a couple of years ago, 2006, I think.
Yes.
And nobody in
Yeah, we
Buffalo
went
can stand
down.
anybody from Boston. So now the Cam Newton's a Patriot.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, we went down to for an anniversary last year, I believe. Yeah. Went down and saw the Blackhawks play the Hurricanes down there. And that's a nice arena, let me tell you, or stadium or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
So-
and they've been social distancing for years. Not the Blackhawks, the Canes.
Yeah.
Oh.
With empty seats is what I'm saying. Empty seats.
With that, I was gonna say that's a crack on them not being.
So have the
full.
White Sox.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a Cubs fan. We just lost half your viewership.
Well, that's why Jason's not here. You could see that coming.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, we don't care about baseball. That's not true. We have a AAA team, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if when I was listening earlier, I heard you say you brewed a sour. I'm just curious, what's your like procedure for that, or like a general? What do you on a homebrew scale? I'm kind of curious. I never brewed
It's a kettle
one as a
sour.
homebrew. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And since I have a grandfather and a robo brew, it's super simple to just set the temp and let it sit for 3 days.
Okay. What do you pitch? You pitch lacto?
No, I pitch a probiotic.
Okay.
So this one was Kavita, and it worked out fine. Generally, it's a good belly probiotic drink.
Yeah. Yeah, we at the brewery we still pitch plain Greek yogurt. It works quicker
Yeah,
than
that's what I hear.
it works quicker than any lacto pitch you can get.
Okay, how much of it?
So, yeah, I'm curious about that too.
All I can really tell you is I know the size of container we get. We get like this size. I think on a homebrew you can just get a single cup.
All right.
Like you know, like your kids are eating yogurt in the morning, that size cup.
Right. Yeah, I've been making Icelandic skyr yogurt at my house ever since we went over there and just fell. It's just so tasty. So I've been making it here, and my plan is to use that instead of Greek yogurt to kettle sour one time. So
it works, if not as fast as fast. It works the same amount of time as lacto, except you're saving. Well, on a homebrew scale, I don't know what you're saving, but you're saving some money, I think. I know on a pro brew scale, we're saving lots of money.
So Scott, you do lacto or probiotic or whatever, and you hold it at 90 some degrees for how long? For like 3 days, right?
Well, yeah, about 3 days. I check my pH every once in a while, and once I get down to about 3.2 or 3.3, then I bring it up to a boil.
Oh, 3.0.
Okay.
3.2.
3. You're going for like melt your enamel off your teeth sour.
Yeah, that's the way my wife likes it.
All right, cool. Yeah, we normally go.
What do you go? What do you do?
We shoot for 3.5.
Okay.
3.5.
Yeah, but we're normally adjuncting them, so it depends on what we're putting in it. You know.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Do you hold it at a higher temperature too, Sean?
We do 110.
110. Okay.
Yeah, and it normally takes about 3 to 4 days to get down. And we'll use a lot of acidulated malt, obviously, to bring that mash pH down. So we're normally in the kettle about 4.5, and then we try to bring it down to 3.5. But if it ends up short, it's still sour, and especially some of these, everyone's adding fruits. That's what we're doing too. These fruits they have a tartness to them, and that's going to make it taste even more. So you don't want to like overkill it. I don't know. That's where we're at with it. But if your wife likes it at 3.2, keep happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we normally will throw in salt and lime.
Oh, just salt and lime? Ooh, that sounds good, man.
Yeah, I can't do coriander, so we never do a goza, but she likes the salt.
Yeah.
So we'll throw in some lime on that too, and sometimes it's real lime, and sometimes it's not.
Hey, whatever gets you there, right?
That's right. It depends on how long I have that day.
Yeah. Well, everyone wants to be the purist, but
can we say a welcome to Polly, who's here with us? What's up, Polly? And I think Polly's screen is frozen, so.
Yeah, or maybe not.
Welcome to the podcast, Polly Bidney. Coming to us live from the now world famous Brew and Grow in Bolingbrook, Illinois.
World famous.
Yes.
This
is a worldwide webcast.
What's world famous is that archway that he always stands in front of. I feel like I know that archway.
Yeah.
I feel like I could pick it out of a lineup.
So what I poured out of the kegerator was my Scottish export, and I feel like I'm going to rename this beer the Unicorn.
I like it.
Just based off our conversation here tonight.
I like it. it.
Yeah. And I did not check, but looking at this, I think I'm getting down to the bottom of the keg, which means I got to get back to work. So there you go. That's one more excuse for not brewing. That's now gone.
Never-ending job.
Yes, that it is.
You know what I'm thinking about doing? I still have like my kegerator, and I still have a CO2 tank and all that at home. Like we do, especially with this COVID stuff, it's gotten more popular. We do these what we call driveway beers, and all the ladies are getting down in these Trulies and White Claws. I think I'm just gonna steal some Mad Hatchet RO and then add some vodka to it and whatever flavoring I feel, whatever they want. And I'm just going to have the keys are in the garage. Like, cause my wife was like, hey, will you give me some White Claws? It's like $12 for a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is water.
They're not cheap.
You're drinking water. for $12 a six pack. So I think that's what's going to happen in our driveway this year.
My wife was getting a bunch of bubbly, which granted is pretty tasty seltzer water, but still. And then she's like, well, why don't we just get a soda stream? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I have a whole system just dedicated to carbonating water in my shed.
Right.
I'll make you some carbonated water. And so I've been doing that with my mini keg of late. And
I think that's a good decision on the bank account, because I've been buying these damn things for way too much money.
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah. Fill up a keg.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
RO, a little bit of vodka. I forget what that calculation is, but anyone can look it up online.
Yeah.
But you add, whatever alcohol this is to 0% alcohol. You can get it right at 4%. You don't want to get her too drunk too quick. That's what I've learned. I thought as a young man, I thought different. But it's no, you want to ease her into it. And then, just carbonate it in a corny keg. And you can go to any of your local homebrew store or Northern Brewer, get the watermelon or black cherry or whatever flavor they want. Or if they have a flavor, I don't think they have a flavor truly that the homebrew stores don't offer.
Probably not.
But just add Kool-Aid to it. Same shit.
I had a flash of jungle juice there for a second, or when you mentioned Kool-Aid.
I'll tell you what, you do that same thing. You add 10 sugar-free Kool-Aid packs, the little packs, like when we were kids packs.
Yeah.
You had 10 of those because it doesn't have sugar in it, so it won't get sweet on them. It'll just add that to that, and I guarantee you'll get laid that night.
Okay, that's a thought.
These are pro tips. We should be taking notes here, guys.
Yeah. Listen, we're talking about
this
the
life pro tips, right?
Yes, it is. Life lessons here on
that discussion where everyone wants to do it all natural. It's like, add the artificial shit. They like it.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you want. You want that flavor.
Oh, especially with vanilla. Like, I've been to breweries where I knew they use like real vanilla and they paid some ungodly amount for it. And then I've been to breweries where they use a combination of the two, and that artificial stuff tastes good.
Yeah.
Maybe not artificial. Maybe it's just extract vanilla, but like it gets there quicker than you're paying $6. What are you paying for vanilla beans right now? Ungodly amount. Yeah. Might as well just, I don't know. That's my thought on it.
Is there still a shortage of vanilla in the market?
Yeah, because we're all brewing vanilla stouts.
Well, that and I think a hurricane hit Madagascar, but
yeah.
How recently?
Sorry, Jason.
Yeah.
It was a little bit ago, but it affected a lot of things and probably will for a little bit yet.
Yeah. Paulie sends a message. He says, Scott, thank you very much for the beer. A box showed up on my door today, and so he got it. I got it. I imagine George did too. So
he did not.
Oh, he did not yet. Oh, okay.
No.
All right.
And that's the sour.
It'll be tomorrow.
Hopefully Thursday.
Yeah.
Got it.
We can talk about it.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, sorry it took so long. We had to get that sour getting going.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, once I get some essential oils, I will send you some. I will get some. I'm going to look up Amazon right now for essential oil bottles. Because
your guys' thing is you're shipping snow globes, right? That's the thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Snow globes. Yes.
But
although I'm okay with essential oils being
bottles.
The code. Yeah.
That's certainly not going to throw.
How
up
long
any
are you
red flags.
planning on aging, Scott?
I'm not. Not for these first couple of batches. You know what I'll probably do is I'll make a couple of batches and set aside a bottle of each to age, or maybe a couple of bottles of each to age. And when I say bottles, they're going to be small because I'm only going to get like a gallon
Okay.
per day, per brew day, distill day. I don't know, like a gallon to a gallon and a quarter. So I'm looking at small bottles. Actually, you guys have Aldi,
Yes, we do.
Yes.
right? Yeah, that was probably a stupid question. We go to Aldi and we get the maple syrup bottles because my kids prefer the real maple syrup because they're jerks and they make us spend money. But then we save them all up here, all the maple syrup bottles.
Oh, right on.
So I'm thinking that's going to be the
Okay.
flasks
That is
to age things,
that is a great call. That is a perfect vessel for
and they don't
essential
smell
oils.
like maple anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll fill those up and then age a bunch, 2
If
or
it-
3 bottles per, and then drink the rest.
If they do, though, that might be money. Like if they sell
that's
them-
exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really nice combination.
I'd drink that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
If you left over
With
some
maple?
of
What are we
the, some of the the maple flavor from the bottle.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
Might
I
not be the
went
worst thing in the world.
if I went to a store and there was a nice dark hand sanitizer in a maple syrup bottle, I'd probably buy that.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of them up there. Oh, there's my hydrometer too, because apparently I have to get an alcohol meter, not a hydrometer.
Oh,
I mean, I've got a hydrometer.
proof and trail.
I don't know. This is why I'm going to
Well,
talk to somebody who distills on the podcast.
Yeah, there's another form of hydrometer called a proof and trail hydrometer that is used
Okay.
for liquor. I accidentally ordered one, so I have one.
Oh yeah,
If I
all
order
right.
that. Yeah.
I accidentally ordered one of those putters that's really tall.
Oh yeah, one of the chest ones.
They like anchor into your yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a chest. It's like it comes up to like on my arm.
Okay.
Okay.
And there was like a 3-month stint where I was just putting like shit. And I was like, let me try this guy that I accidentally ordered because I'm too lazy to return anything. And I've used it ever since. I've been killing it, buddy. But I don't anger it against my body. I just anger it against my forearm. No,
Yeah, you and the 90-year-old in the foursome in front of you.
Hey, if it works, it works.
That 9-year-old, I'll put you.
It's like when I used to rent cars a lot for a job, and I rented a Lincoln Town car one time, and it's like, I don't want one, but I get why the old guys like them. It's a smooth ride, and the seats are comfortable.
Super comfortable, yeah.
It's floating on a cloud. The suspension on those things. It's like floating on a cloud. Like pothole, what pothole?
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything.
Right.
Ooh, excuse my yawn. I'm sorry. It happened again.
Now that we've talked about golf and cars on the brewing podcast.
Hey, I went out golfing yesterday. First time for the
Listen, we did a deep dive on the Karate Kid in the last episode, so
We did.
this is well within the trajectory of where this usually goes.
And how Daniel is a cheating cheater.
I went.
year. Oh, face kick.
I went
Yeah,
golfing
see?
with.
See?
Yeah,
Sorry, Sean.
that's exactly what George said, Scott.
I went golfing with Will County brewer Jamie Albert when we were non-cart only, and I haven't walked 18 holes since I was on like the high school golf team. The last
who walks anymore?
It's a workout.
the last 4 holes, we could not have given less of a shit about golf. Like we were just in it to finish at that point. I think we probably both took 9s on the last hole. Like we couldn't care less. Like we're like whatever. But we were done. I think.
Did you?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you carry your bag or did you have a pool cart?
I had a pull cart, but I think and he had one too. I think pushing that cart, there was this old guy We're on probably the 16th hole, and the 17th hole comes back against the 16th hole. So their fairway is right next to ours. So naturally, me and Jamie are on that fairway because we don't play the hole we're at. And
Been there.
this guy
a lot.
has a remote control cart. He must have been 80-year-old guy. And he's just looking chipper as shit. And I was like, is it really just pushing the clubs the whole time? That does it? Like,
it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. That dude would have, if I would have said do the Macarena, he would have done it. Like he was that energetic at that point.
Huh.
Either that or his Viagra's were kicking in. I don't know.
Yeah, and it puts the pro tournaments into a different perspective. When you see that they're having to walk 18 holes for, sometimes a 4-day tournament.
But they're not carrying their bag.
No, they have a caddy.
Yes, that's right. But nevertheless, there's no carts. They're having to walk that whole course.
Well, and this is the biggest thing about that. Why we're better than them is no one's going to go find my ball.
Right.
So I'm doing 15,000 steps back and forth in the woods trying to find my ball because I don't want to take a penalty stroke. Meanwhile, there's 30,000 fans around Rory McIlroy's ball.
Yeah.
Like, this is where it's at, bro.
Yeah.
There was a meme when they first opened professional golf after COVID stuff. You're like, with no fans, we're gonna have trouble finding our ball. Like one of the golfers, like that was a quote from him. And someone put a meme to that with Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore. Welcome to my world, Grandma.
Here's another throwback to that movie. So I got an image of the end of that movie when Shooter McGavin had to take a shot off that big guy's foot. And then he later screamed about it. I was like, "Hey, I had to take a shot off of Frankenstein's foot. You can run through."
That is a classic. I actually I have a golf towel on my bag that says "Remember Chubbs."
Nice.
Yeah. I can approve of that.
With an alligator on it, of course.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yes, I approve as well.
Yeah.
I remember
take a walk with me, guys.
Oop.
Oh, we're taking a walk. Where are we going?
Yeah.
We're taking a walk. I'm going to get a quick refill.
Oh,
Okay.
And I got to put my vehicle registration back in my vehicle because I just took it out. And if I don't do it right now, I'm going to forget. Oop, and my dad's here.
And you will
She
get
showed up
pulled
at the
over
door.
tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Proof hydrometer came in the chat from Polly, and I think that's the name for the hydrometer used for the spirits.
Proof and Trail, yeah.
Is that what you have, George?
That's what I accidentally ordered, yep.
Ah, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you think you were buying something else?
I thought I was buying a regular hydrometer because I didn't know Proof and Trail existed, so I typed in hydrometer and picked the first thing. And I was ordering off of More Beer.
Oh,
and
okay.
then what came in the mail was not what I needed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you have a? Oh, excuse me, I burped. Do you have a homebrew shop near you? Where did you say you were at in Virginia?
Outside of Fredericksburg.
Okay, I know there's one in Richmond.
So my two closest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two in Richmond actually. I go to the one in Midlothian when I'm down near my in-laws. It's called Artisan Wine and Homebrew. They're great.
Yeah.
I love those guys. It's just an hour and a half away from me. And the other option I have is up in Manassas. I don't remember the name of that one.
Where's Fredericksburg? Are you up in the mountains or are you closer to DC?
No, closer to DC. I'm like 45 minutes west of 95.
Oh, okay.
So it's so I'm like right in between DC and Richmond.
And what's your home address so everyone knows?
Yeah, nah, not doing that. But, so I've been a mail order home brewer for a while, but I have definitely planned brew days around when I know I'm going to go visit my in-laws, so I can hit up that homebrew shop and get my ingredients there.
I remember when I was in Norfolk, there is one apparently in Virginia Beach now, but at the time there was nothing, and I drove my first homebrew. I drove up to Richmond, and it was like, hey, what's wrong with this? Because it's definitely horrible, but I'm going to drink it all. And he was like, oh, are you in Norfolk? He's like, yeah. It's like the water. And, when you first start homebrewing, you don't even think about water, so.
Right.
I always remember that. I drove it like an hour away. What's Richmond? It's about an hour, 20 minutes from Norfolk, so, depending on how the bridge tunnel is. But yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's one thing I've loved about since I moved here, being on a well. I have some spectacular water.
Yeah.
And nice base water that I can add salts to and do all kinds of stuff with. So.
And if you need moonshining advice, that's always just around the corner there.
True. You are actually not wrong for a lot of reasons.
Well, I remember that Moonshiner show came out on Discovery, and it was like, you could barely like, "Hi man, we doing this shine, man," that kind of talk, and I was like, "Where the hell are these guys at? Alabama?" And I was living in Norfolk, and they were like 20 minutes north of me when they showed their location.
So one of the guys that was on that show went legit, and he has a shop about 20 minutes away from me towards Culpeper, and he went legit and opened up a distillery. So yeah,
nice. Yeah. Does he talk like that?
I haven't had a chance to spend a whole lot of time with him, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's definitely some guys around here that do.
That's that East Coast South accent. Like, you got to be on the coast, and you just go, and then some people understand you somehow. Oh,
yeah, this happens. Yeah, George's internet access where he's at is not all that great, so he tends to drop out a little bit.
I was just going to tell you, I'm going to go grab another beer, but now I feel the pressure. It's only the two of us.
Well, he's back. There we go.
Right, he's back. I can go grab another beer now.
Yes, you're good, man.
All right.
Did you have a good time being off for 5 seconds?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a good time being off for 5 seconds?
Oh yeah, toured the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Did all kinds of things.
You met a bunch of interesting people. You have all these stories now to share with us, right? In 5 seconds.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. We are coming up on the 2-hour mark here.
Man. We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been quite an episode.
It has. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Didn't expect Sean to drop by, but I'm glad he did.
I am too. This was great.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try the rice hulls in the next one, because now that he's talking about that, I'm wondering if I'm not getting the grain bed. The Herms and everything is doing a great job with the regular stuff, but I'm wondering if my efficiency losses in my sparge, because it's not able to drain through and rinse the grains as well as it could. So I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It does. It makes sense to me too. So we'll see what happens.
And like we said earlier on in the show, rice hulls are stupid cheap. So
yes,
it's an easy thing to
$2 a pound or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So. All right.
So, yeah.
I didn't do our proper introduction, so yeah, I'm going to do a full one here.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure. All right. Thank you for turning into the webcast. We do our webcast here every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have our social media links on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nice Place to Brew and A Nice Place to Brew. Our YouTube channel has all of our past episodes. Check us out there anytime for all of our past episodes going back to the beginning of the quarantine. We've built up quite a library from this time. I think we're in like week 10 right now, George. I was thinking about that earlier today.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, is available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and all the other places that you get your podcast from. We will be back on Thursday. And I will publicly invite Sean to join us on the Thursday episode as well if he's able to make it.
Yep.
Sean, you'll see a link if you're able to make it. That'd be awesome. And what am I forgetting? I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's
Oh,
it.
came in for the wrap up, huh?
Yeah,
For the
yeah.
But now you get to do the best part of it. You get to raise a beer.
Yes, exactly.
Go drink Mad Hatchet's new braggot. We just bottled it.
Okay.
Go drink Mad Hatchet's new bracket. Mad Hatchet in Shorewood, Illinois. Your website is madhatchetbrewing.com. Is that correct?
Damn, you're good. You're a great
Yes.
host.
Thank you.
I would have stumbled all over that.
And you're on the social media. What's your most active social media?
Facebook. I'm not a big Instagram guy. I know we're on. I like have an account on Instagram just so I can follow us, to be honest. But so I do see posts go up on that. So Insta and Facebook for sure. We're getting a lot of new great artists coming through, a lot of great food trucks coming in, and that braggot tastes like Welch's grape juice. I wanted to call it New Year's Eve kids table toast. That's what I wanted to call it. That's
wow.
yeah. But braggot is 50. We basically brewed a legal mead. We went 49% honey on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We didn't just add honey to a beer. We did as close to a mead as we could legally do with our license. So
that's awesome.
Right.
And what is that available now, or does it have a release date coming up?
Oh no, it's available now. It's in bottles, and then it's also on tap for a limited time in the tap room.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Mad Hatchet Brewing in Shorewood, Illinois.
And if you're buying merch, offer code Jason at checkout.
There you go. Get your special discount of.
Actually, whatever. I like that. Maybe we'll get that added.
You see this, George? This is growing.
It's been the running joke.
I know.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Jason is a sexy beast. Can you hear my kids yell, crying in the background?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys.
No worries.
Let's cheers it then.
Let's cheers. All right.
We'll do it. Raise a glass. It takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. We'll see you here on Thursday. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
And he's gone.
I don't know how to leave.
Ha! Just close it.
All right, bud. Hey, good
All right, later on. Bye.
Shit.